Hello everybody, and I am here with another video, and this is something I'm probably going to start doing more often, is talking about weight loss, because I'm in the process of trying to lose weight and maybe even gain some muscle. Now, to start off this video, let's talk about this fat acceptance bullcrap, because I talk about controversial things all the time anyways. Might as well talk about this one. So, I am not okay with fat acceptance. I am not okay with it at all, because it's... Now, if you're like 10, 20, maximum 40-ish pounds overweight, yeah, no, you're not really that fat, but, losing weight wouldn't hurt you, but also, you're perfectly fine where you're at. Like, you're not bad at all. But I'm talking about the people who are probably like 60 plus pounds overweight, basically. And at least for whatever activities they are doing, because keep in mind that different people are going to weigh a different amount, and different weights are going to be healthy for, certain people. Like, I am really overweight, because honestly, like, a big guy football player should be the one this weight, and I am far from a football player. Like, I do a little bit of exercising here and there, at least to try to lose weight, and I walk like crazy, but that's not, that doesn't stop the weight gain. And so, yeah, I want to establish that before I get into it. Now, fat acceptance. Fat acceptance is just, accepting people being overweight. And I'm talking about, like, these people, they're about my size and bigger, basically. And some people are like, well, he's healthy, and but, it's like, but they sit on their butts all day, and they, and they're eating junk food or something, and it's like, it's not what healthy is. Now, here's the thing. We are not... I'm trying to be understanding of these people. So, I think what most people think when accepting fatness is that their body can handle whatever weight they end up gaining. But guess what? We are not perfect. We are far from it. We are very far from perfect. And this means that we can't carry the weight that we put on our stomachs, okay? This means that, our bones can get worn out. Our muscles, okay. I don't know where I was going with that, but, bones ache, I don't know. I was going with something, but muscles ache, your body can be put under a lot of pressure and all that crap. Now, like I said, being a little pudgy, maybe that's more like carrying a bag around all the time, 24/7, even when you go to sleep. Like, that's what being a little overweight is. But, like, if you're like me, I'm like 90 to 100 pounds over my healthy weight or whatever. And for the activity that I do on a regular basis, or possibly even just 80, like that's really minimum. I hear doggies. And like, so I'm very obviously overweight, so that would be like carrying around a child, like not just a baby child, but like a child, like elementary kid or something, possibly even a small middle school kid, carrying that around all day, every day, 24/7. And because we are human, and our bodies cannot handle that kind of weight, despite it being maybe a gradual thing, like our our bodies are just not we're not perfect, okay? We are susceptible to diseases and death and stuff like that. We are very susceptible to death, I might add. Now I'm just being a dork, but so yeah, and so like, if you start hitting like, if you're like 100, 200 pounds over, the weight you should be, you have problems. Like, you're basically carrying more than you're carrying a couple of like adults at that point, and and you might be like, oh, but it was gradual weight gain on there. Surely my muscles can accommodate for that. Yeah, if that area of your body is actually being worked out on a regular basis, and you are gradually making those areas equally as strong, maybe. But then you probably wouldn't be as overweight, would you? So, yeah. And another reason I am not okay with fat acceptance is you can fucking die, okay? You are shortening your life, you are making yourself very susceptible to things. Heart attack, diabetes, other things I can't think off the top of my head. And depending on the person and depending what you eat, it's going to depend on what you're most susceptible to. And so yeah, like I said, we're human beings. We're not perfect. We're not meant to be like that. And yeah, I understand. It's hard as hell to lose weight. Just to get myself to stop gaining weight took some effort, okay? So you can imagine, like, losing weight's gonna be a bitch. I'm quite overweight, and 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 by putting on all that weight, it's like you're limiting yourself, like even for myself. I mean, I'm not even some of the fattest people out there. I'm not, okay, basically I'm not obese, okay? I'm still quite overweight, but I'm not obese. Not yet. and like, although I bet you I'm close to it. I mean, like, you get limited. Like, even for someone like me, I'm sore, walking distances I could when I was a bit thinner. And that's not okay. That is not okay. Like, I think it's so sad that people are willing to sacrifice their mobility for eating. And I understand. Sometimes it's a compulsion. Sometimes it's probably more psychological than, like, anything else. Because trust me, I deal with that. I say food and I'm just like, ooh, food. It's why I'm not a chef. Like, if I was a chef, the food would be gone before I could serve anything. I'm kind of kidding. Kind of. Depends on what size of meal I'm actually making. The temptations, though. So, yeah, and honestly, I'm like, now if you're like, I am perfectly fine with being this much overweight, and I'm willing to accept the consequences that might come from it, then fine, okay? And, like, but don't sit there and tell me that you're perfectly healthy or whatever. And I understand there's a couple of genetic issues, but I live here in America, okay? We're a bunch of fat asses, and I can tell you, not every single one of those people have some genetic issue. In fact, I would bet you that not even half of them have a genetic issue. And it's all compulsion and self-control issues. Because so basically, there's different ways of going about losing weight, okay? Now, if you're like, if you're trying to find motivation for, someone, sometimes fat shaming even helps people, okay? I'm not saying it helps everybody. In fact, sometimes fat shaming can just make them more depressed and be like, I don't want to do anything, and just make them eat more, basically. But honestly, like, there are people who fat shaming actually is quite effective for. Because they're like, well, fuck this crap. I'm not gonna sit here and be called this all the time. I'm tired of feeling this disgusting. I'm tired of, being made fun of for being overweight. So yeah. And the other thing of that is sometimes fat shaming does the opposite, unfortunately. So I'm not like promoting fat shaming, but I am saying for certain people it actually might be effective. I'm gonna be real about that. Because sometimes negativity does help people. Some people are motivated by negativity. And for the case of other people, sometimes positivity helps. It's like, or even, showing them like, oh, you can really have a better life. You'd be better with this and this, and show them the options out there of like wait, English isn't working. Weight loss. And so, yeah, Oh gosh. So basically, yeah, showing people the different options and just that they would be probably even happier, you know, and just be positive about it. And if they start losing weight, be like, oh my gosh, that's awesome, because honestly, some people really need the praise, even for the smallest things. Like for me, I'm just like, I find it quite the accomplishment that I stopped losing weight and stopped gaining weight. There we go. I'm talking about so much now. My words are going. So, as I was saying before my English decided to screw up on me, yeah, sometimes positivity is the best way to go. Other times, hello plane, I can't see you, but I hear you. Other times, fear might help. Honestly, I think fear kind of helped me out a little bit. And honestly, maybe for some people it might be the combination of the three, honestly. Or a combination of fear and positivity. Because I think for me that would, be best or whatever. I don't know. But, sometimes for me, like I said, I've watched some documentaries about really, really fat people, like really obese people, and I mean, hell, even some people who are just like realistically obese, not even just 600 pound life stuff, and like even the people who are like in the 300s or something like that, they're so limited by their weight, they're sore, and I'm like, it's bad, it's really bad, and it's like, I don't want to live like that. I don't, and also the fear of like I said before, different diseases and stuff you can get from not being healthy. Like for me, I am very susceptible to diabetes at this point. I am considered a pre-diabetic, and I need to straighten my shit out. And that's something that I gotta get control of. And so keep in mind, when you're trying to motivate your friends or family or whatever to lose weight, certain tactics are going to be not so good and other tactics are going to be good. And this is if you truly do care about that person. You need to know what tactics to use. And I'm going to be honest, like even with my plan for weight loss, it's still not even the most healthy thing, okay? Like, it's basically, there's a car in the middle of the road. Okay then. Basically, I'm just trying to essentially not lose, I'm trying to lose weight, okay? I'm trying to get myself a bit under control, and oh no, they probably just like had a problem. I don't know. Hopefully okay, yeah, it looks like they're going. Looks like I'm easily distractible, okay? But yeah, and there are different options, for losing weight. Now you can go to the what I call the shit diet, which is eat salads all day, every day, and torture yourself with salads and suffocate on those leaves. I am not a salad person. You know, like, I might eat a salad here and there, and that's about it. Like, ooh, shit. However, there are other diets that aren't death and horrible and make you want to cry, okay? Like, for one, and maybe just the, you know, easiest baby steps for it is just being aware of what you are eating and not eating, you know, fast food all the time and greasy food all the time, and just, you know, not intaking all the really bad stuff, and being aware of the calories that you eat. Now, if you're like a poor person, I can already tell you, ramen noodles are like 400 calories a pack. So I'm just saying, you know, if you want to eat healthier and you're poor as shit, hot dogs, rice, potatoes, so yeah, stuff like that, and just like cutting out, you know, sugary sodas or whatever. Because I know some poor people also drink sodas. That's myself included. But my sodas aren't sugary, but they're probably still fattening. But, so yeah, there's that option. There's the option of eat whatever the fuck you want and just exercise like shit. Because it's a lot about, you know, the calories that go in and go out, basically. Like, burning off whatever calories you ate, basically. And just, I think the average amount of, you know, and there's this Lose It app. It'll help you keep track of how much you burned, how much you, how many calories you ate, stuff like that. And honestly, I find it a little bit helpful because it puts it visually for me. For any blind people who also watch my channel who might also have this weight issue, I have no idea if this app is like reader accessible, but you know, if it is, that's cool. Let me know. And I'm not sure if it's actually accessible through iTunes. I got it in the Google Play Store. So yeah, because, you know, Android, which I'm switching to iPhone soon. Anyhow, that's enough about phone stuff. But basically, you know, so, you know, that's a thing to do. Another thing is that keeping track of low-carb diet, okay? Now, I don't understand exactly why this makes you lose weight so much. But low-carb diet is a very great diet if you have that compulsion eating issue that I also have, and like, you know, lack the control to really not eat so much, or maybe you're a stress eater and hey, it's finals, right? So you're gonna, and it's the holiday, so you're gonna but you know, so basically with that diet, I've seen this work on people, by the way. Like, I've seen it work on multiple people. So it is a thing. Like, it's very effective. It is very, very effective. And, you know, my family was poor. My mom did it, although that kind of left the rest of the family eating kind of crappy foods. So it's slightly more expensive than, you know, your rice, potatoes, hot dogs, noodles, ramen, you know, things. But like, honestly, if you have food stamps, you know, I think, and if you're one person, then I think, you know, you should be able to afford a low carb diet, possibly, because my family was on food stamps, and like I said, even though it kind of left the rest of the family eating crappy food, you know, my mother still was able to eat a low carb diet, which I'm kind of bitter about, because now I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that bitch, like, she ate, and honestly, low carb foods are good. I like them. I like the meats, I like the cheese, and the great thing is you got sugary stuff. Like, there's low carb ice cream, there's low carb candies, and, you know, those things aren't half bad either. So it's like you might have a sugary tooth, a very big sugary tooth, and, you know, you're like, I don't want to give that sugar up, and it's like, oh, look at that, you know, low carb candy, yum yum. And so yeah, also, if you're just poor as shit, eggs are also a good source of protein and low calories and low carb as well. Like, honestly, eggs are really great if you're poor as crap. I know, I've you know, because for a while I just ate a lot of egg sandwiches growing up. So, yeah. I mean, there's options. There are definitely options out there for, you know, losing weight. And so, for my journey of trying to lose weight, you know, right now I'm just trying to not eat as unhealthy, and I'm trying to exercise a bit more, and I'm keeping track of my calories, and you know gonna try to do that with exercise and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of trying to be a little more conscious of what I'm doing, because I also want to gain some muscle. And another tidbit to, you know, help with that is, if you're transgender, or if you just have huge boobs that are like painful as shit, you know, making your back heavier or whatever. I mean, for one, although, you know, surgeries are there for that, but if you lose weight, your boobs will get smaller. That is a thing. And if you're on testosterone, yeah, I mean, between the fat going in different places, that will help your boobs to, you know, and losing weight. And I mean, honestly, just, and, you know, it's also a natural way to get testosterone flowing through you, as if, you know, if you're exercising too. So that's also a nice natural way to go about it. So yeah, this car is gonna be in the middle of the driveway. Okay, yay, it went. Yeah, so I guess, you know, like I said, I'm quite a bit overweight, and I am not okay with it. I am not okay with it at all because I am well aware of the health consequences and, just, what goes into it. And, I'm not okay with that. So, yeah, I'm going to try to lose weight and, hopefully be just a generally healthier person because, I'm kind of like, let's switch off the bad foods and maybe switch on to some healthier foods because there are some really good healthy foods. My favorites are strawberries. I love me those strawberries. And I can eat them all day long. And Slim Jims. I like those Slim Jims too. So, there's options. And other options besides fast food, greasy food, crap. But I guess that's enough about my 2 cents on, fat acceptance and just, trying to lose weight in general. So I guess if y'all want to follow me on that journey as well as maybe my transition, or maybe you just don't give 2 shits about the transition and you're like, I want to follow this person losing weight. No, that's cool too. Or, watch me also for blind things. Like, I don't post as much about blindness, but I plan to start doing that more. I don't know. But, if you want to follow me on this messed up journey that is my fat ass trying to lose weight, then join me, join us. Bye.